Hello, good afternoon. First of all, I want to apologize because we had this internet connection problems, and this is why I have to record offline. But anyways, I'm Joana, I'm from Portugal, and today I'm going to present my PhD project that is called Connect the Dots. And I'm going to share the screen of my presentation. Okay, so my project, it is grounded on the idea of automation in investigative journalism workflow. And by this, we want to study more precisely how automated and semi-automated platforms can actually help the journalistic production in what concerns to investigative journalism. Through this project, we also want to evaluate the potential of these tools when producing articles in investigative journalism, and we want to understand how digital platforms, how process of automations, how the natural language generation and information classification can be articulated with the necessities of investigative journalists, and with this this interconnection of tools and knowledge, we could go further and to develop a more valid and greater process in the investigation process. As I said before, this is a project, this is a PhD project, and we are in the first steps of this investigation. So the first steps that we have to do is, of course, analyze the state of art, read what has already been done in this area, and to understand what we can contribute to this growth of area, this knowledge of the innovation in investigative journalism. So the main aspects that we want to study, the ground basis of the study, will be the structural foundations in investigative journalism, to identify and choose a workflow that is standard and can be applied to every investigative reporting cases. To know, of course, the evolution of automation in journalism and how it has contributed to the growth of the area of journalism, and to identify and to study the tools and softwares that are already being used in investigative journalism and how they contribute to this area. In what concerns the structural foundations of investigative journalism, we want to know what differentiates investigative journalism to daily journalism that is presented to us every day. And we want to understand what are the main differences in the process of investigation, and what are the real necessities of journalists nowadays in the digital landscape. In what concerns the investigative reporting workflow, I have to emphasize that I've made an ethnographic research in the Portuguese public TV station. In this ethnographic research, I've studied 3 different newsrooms: the radio newsrooms, the TV newsrooms, and the center of innovation of this company. So it was possible in these past 9 months to study and to identify what is the workflow of the journalist in this company. And as we thought it would be a representative company, to understand what would be the standard workflow of this company. And with that study, we came to this conclusion that the workflow of investigative journalism initiates with an idea that comes from a database or a document or a whistleblower, and then the journalist goes deeper in this information and tries to get some facts, more facts, or more clues that lead us to that way of thought. And in this particular phase, the prototype connected dots could be applied in identifying expertise, ratings, how to interpret data. Of course, journalists will also have the need to interview persons of interest, and in this particular phase, also the prototype can be helpful by intersecting different data and trying to give more information by intersecting, like I said, this different data that come from different people in the interviews and the data that collected from the interviews. And then, of course, it will be the information crossing, and this process is really important because it's there in information crossing. The journalist gets to a conclusion, and in the linking thoughts between data, okay, in this linking thoughts, the connected dots prototype can also be applied and help this process by shortening the time of these meticulous processes. The evolution of automation in journals is also an important subject to study, because we have to understand how this relationship between human and machine started and how we get to nowadays, and how this can be helpful for us to understand how journalists will lead to deal with the system, and if it will be a problematic relationship or not. We also have to understand what tools have already been made and softwares that already been published, and other different types of platforms that are already used in investigative journalism, and then can be helpful for us to go further in this investigation. So we came up to three main questions that are the core of this investigation. That is the most important one. To what extent can a semi-automated platform leverage the production of investigative journals in digital landscape? Linked to this, how can data-driven journalism, and we're talking about the methodology of data-driven journalism, and how this methodology can contribute to the identification of automated tasks, to analyze and sort data, and in a more precise way, we want to understand how can infographics be used to organize data, helping journalists finding conclusions in the investigative process. So, we chose for our methodology the design-based research methodology. This type of methodology is very interesting in a way that it gives us a clear and practical way of refining our system and making a scientific knowledge out of it. So in the first phase, like I said before, we have to identify study cases that are they're an example to us. And the study cases here have to be more concrete, like open source tools, algorithms already developed, studies that were close to what we want to find. So we have to collect this data to understand what has already been made and could help us to go further. And this is in a practical way. Then, after we made this collection of tools that already been made and that will be helpful for us, we have to make an inventory of our necessities and what we really have to discover and to develop to make this system possible. So this, we have to be very precise in what we want to add or exclude from the system. One main aspect of this research is that we need to this system with context, and this will be made into different phases or stages. In the first stage, we will have the first non-functional protocol. We will test the next two journalists to see if it is helpful for them, or it could be changed. What tools or what features should be changed to be more to be a system more understandable and more practical to journalists. Like I said, in the second phase, we will improve the system quality, and this will be by making refinements of the system, by doing this test. And this test will be very precise in design methodology. But with these conclusions, we can make a system more and more practical and more realistic towards the needs of the investigative journalists. So, in a conclusion, we want to know if a semi-automated platform really helps and can really help an investigative journalist, and if this process can shorten the most time-consuming tasks associated with investigative journalism. And also we want to make possible that journalism, the investigative journalism can grow in digital landscape and can be, and journalists could have more tools and more capacities for making more studies, more articles, and the area of investigative journalism can grow with automation. So to end this presentation, I'm going to show some glints of our non-functional prototype already made. So this was made with some data that was given to us in the ethnographic research of the Portuguese public station. And here you can find some features, the main features of this system that would help in the investigative process, like finding a word or a statement or a number, organized by criteria is another functionality, very helpful, we hope. Summarize content to shorten the idea of the content. Triangulate data is to find if there is a relation between three different types of data, and to search for evidence that is more advanced, that will be to find some clues for some statement, data clues. Finally, I'm showing the output of this system. That would be this infographic or this timeline. That could be a timeline as well. That shows the main information that we wanted to see from those documents. this is the conclusion of the information that the journalists selected on those features. So I guess we came to a final conclusion. Thank you all for your time. And again, I'm really sorry for the bad connection and the problems that we have. And I hope you had a good time with this presentation. Thank you.